What's up, Home Slice? This is Leon, the Paperback Maniac, coming at you with a little Friday horror haul. Had a minimum day at work today, so I left a little early, had some time to kill, and thought, why don't I head over to the bookstore, see what they've got. And I always go with the most benign intentions. I'm just like, yeah, I'll go, I'll check it out, maybe I'll pick up one or two things if it really strikes my fancy, but if you've seen any of my previous hauls, you know I have zero restraint, and as always, I ended up getting way too much stuff. So here I am in all my shame to show you the spoils of my latest pillage. So without further ado, let's get to it. First batch of books are from the book Junction in Huntington Beach in Orange County. I've talked about them before. I've shown you previous hauls from them. First book I got from Book Junction is Animals by Skip Inspector. This book was published by Bantam in 1993. So it's one of Skip Inspector's later collaborations. May even be their last. I'm not quite sure about that. But I'm a huge fan of Skip Inspector. Love The Light at the End. I've got a few of their other titles, The Scream, Deadlines, and they're just fantastic. This is one that I had been curious about. I'd been on the lookout for it, so I'm glad I can finally add it to the collection, and hopefully we'll get to it soon. Okay, next up we got a book called Children of the Knife by Brad Strickland. This book was published by Onyx in 1990. Just when I thought I knew every Onyx horror title, thought I owned nearly all of them, I come across one that I had never seen before. This one, I didn't even know it existed. I have Brad Strickland's other Onyx title, Shadow Show, which I'm hoping to read soon. So happy to find another one. Another reason it's awesome to just go into a bookstore. You never know what you're going to find. You can always be surprised by the things that show up there. Okay, next up, we've got a book called Something Out There by Ronald Kelly. This book was published by Zebra in 1991. I have a couple of Ronald Kelly's other Zebra books, and haven't read him yet, but hope to do so soon. It's a pretty cool cover. Okay, I was pretty excited when I saw this. We've got here Chill number 7, Shadows. I think I showed, I had another one of these Chill books that I had found in a bookstore that I think was in one of my previous haul videos. I just love, these are just, they look so 70s. This was published by, or was written by Jory Sherman, published by Pinnacle in 1980. And it looks to be a killer doll book, which is always a lot of fun. You gotta love the late 70s and 80s killer doll subgenre. It's kind of died a swift death after in the 90s. You don't really see too much of those anymore. Okay, and the final one from Book Junction, that's right, we've got Manhattan Heat by Ken Ulo. This was published by Tor in 1991. I have a couple other Ken Ulo books. This one looks to be another one of those mashups. It's it appears to be a police procedural, but it based on the synopsis, there are walking, rotting corpses. Definitely has some horror elements there. So looks like a lot of fun. Good old New York crime horror saga, something like that. Okay. All right, now for the big batch, of course, we are going to Bookman. Talked about them before. Probably my favorite bookstore in Orange County. It is a shame, though, because I can never walk out of that goddamn store without at least like 10 books, and today's no exception. So here are the things I got from Bookman in Orange. First up, we've got Visions of Terror by William Katz. That is a classic cover. You've probably seen this before. Just a beautiful work of art. This book was published by Warner in 1981. Love those Warner covers, I really do. And yeah, this one is worth picking up just for that amazing cover. I don't know if the book's any good, but we'll find out soon enough. Okay, this cover I think I like even more. One of my favorite covers, I think, of this haul. We've got To the Vanishing Point by Alan Dean Foster. This book was published by Warner under their Popular Library imprint in 1988. And yeah, apparently this is more on the science fiction side. And Alan Dean Foster was, or is, I don't know if he's still, he's a science fiction writer primarily. He wrote some novelizations. I think he wrote The Thing novelization, maybe, or was it Alien? I don't remember. But I mean, look at that cover. Just, I mean, any book that has a cover like that, I am going to buy and read. I mean, I love the EC Comics style skeleton and the hitchhiker there. Just an absolutely phenomenal work of art. Just lovely. Just totally ticks all my boxes there. Everything I'm looking for in a horror paperback cover is right there, in that book. Okay, next up, we've got Lowland Rider by Chet Williamson. This book was published by Tor in 1988. I'm quickly adding my Chet Williamson collection is swiftly building. I have not yet read any of his books, but I'm really looking forward to. He seems like the kind of writer that's right up my alley in terms of like his style. He's seems like a stylish and descriptive writer. And yeah, I'm looking forward. I probably won't read this one first. I'll probably start, toward the beginning. But looking forward to checking out all of Chet Williamson's books. This one seems very, very, very cool. Okay, next up, here's one that, perfect example of a book I would have never bought or known about if I hadn't found it in a bookstore. This is The Trail of the Reaper by Peter Fox. This book was published by Berkeley in 1988. This edition looks like it was first published by St. Martin's Press in 1983, which was kind of at the tail end of the slasher cycle. This looks like a fun little slasher novel. I'm always looking out for those because they're fun, and this one seems like a fun little pot boiler. Okay, next up, got a book called The Link by Andrew Lawrence. This was published by Diamond in 1980. Unfortunately, I didn't see this. It's the second in a trilogy, which makes me fucking sigh with exasperation because that means that I'm going to have to at least buy the first one. Just more shit that I'm going to have to clutter my place with. But I don't know. I saw the cover. The cover struck me, and then the synopsis, or like the little, like I love like those little excerpts they have like in the beginning. Like it seemed kind of cool, so I picked it up. It was like $1.50. Okay, next, I'm super excited about this. I had been kind of thinking about this series for a while and wanting to pick it up, but I just, never really got around to it. And I saw the whole set, basically, the whole series. They were each just $2.50 each. Had to get on it. It is the Blackwater series by Michael McDowell. Very, very reputable and respected and revered horror writer. He was also a screenwriter. He wrote Beetlejuice, I believe. But the Blackwater series, I have heard nothing but good things about this series. Yeah, Bookman had the whole set. Someone has sold them all, so I picked them up. The first one is The Flood. By the way, these were all published by Avon. They all came out in 1983. So The Flood, and then this one has a cool kind of inside artwork. Very very moody and tenebrous. I kind of dig that. Seems like a dark Southern family saga. So that's the first one. And then we've got part 2 here, The Levy. Yeah, there's that one. And then there's part 3, The House. Very cool covers. I love the design of this series. And then part 4 is The War. Part 5, The Fortune. Those eyes just boring into my soul. And finally, I think this is the last one. I fucking hope so. Part 6, this is Rain. Very, very cool cover too. Yeah, so yeah, really happy to have that set. You know, I wanted these editions. Like when I heard about this series, I definitely wanted to go with these these original Avon paperbacks. So yeah, that was a fun little discovery. Okay, next up, got a book called Less Than Human by Gary Razor. This was published by Diamond in 1992. And I know that looks incredibly cheesy. You're like, what the hell? Like vampires playing pool. But apparently, this is a very well done and like almost smart horror novel, like one of the better ones from the 90s. So I mean, the reviews of this thing are just effusive, and I'm looking forward to reading this one. I'm hoping to get to this one sooner rather than later. All right, got a few more here. Next up, we got a book called Prey, Serpents, Prey by Nicholas Randers. This was published by Critics' Choice. Sounds like the budget label of the 80s. This was published in 1988. And I picked this one up mostly because my buddy Brandon, who runs a cool blog, Undivine Interventions, he recently reviewed this on his blog and had some positive praise, positive words for it. So when I saw it and I remember that review, I went ahead and picked it up. So yeah, looks pretty cool. Okay, next up, we've got Death Tour by David J. Michael. This book was, this edition was published by Signet in 1979. Although, was this first published in 78? I'm not sure. This had to be a paperback original. I can't see this having been a hardcover. I think I first saw this cover in Paperbacks from Hell. I'm pretty sure that cover looks really familiar. I think this was featured in Paperbacks from Hell. So thank God I found it in the store, because God knows what it's going for online right now. Okay, next up, got a book called Elixir. Here's another one. Yeah, if I hadn't found this there for like $2, I would have never bought this. But I don't know what it was. Just the word elixir sounds so 80s and cheesy. And the synopsis, or the back, yeah, it makes it sound kind of just like cheesy, stupid fun. But this was written by J. Edward Lord, published by Ballantine, I don't know, 1987. So yeah, a little fun late 80s cheese fest right here, it looks like. Okay, next up, got a book called Inheritance by Owen Brooks. This was published by Pocket in 1981, and it's got some pretty cool, well, the die cut, there's the inside artwork there. And I thought Owen Brooks was one of Dean Koontz. I thought it was either Dean Koontz or Graham Masterton, like one of their pen names. I was almost sure it was one of their pen names, but apparently it's neither of their pen names. Apparently Owen Brooks is a dude, I think a British author. So I found that out when I got home, but it looks pretty cool. So happy to have that. Okay, just a couple more here. We've got Chiller by Randall Boyle. This one was published by Jove in 1992. Heard good things about this one. I've actually heard good things about all of Randall Boyle's stuff. He published, he wrote a bunch of like movie tie-ins, novelizations like Darkman, and I've got a couple of his. I think I've got like Shocker, his novelization of that. But this is one of his originals, and seems fun. So there's that. Okay, the penultimate one of the day, we've got Nightmare's Child by James Farber. This book was published by, this edition was published by Panther, which is a UK publisher, in 1985. The original US edition was 1983. Heard good things about this one as well, and looking forward to checking that out. And finally, we've reached the end, folks. The last one, really effective, creepy cover here. This is The Apparition by George Bishop. This book was published by Bantam in 1979, and that is a really, just a creepy-ass cover. I don't know what it is about it. It just looks eerie and strange. You gotta love those late 70s horror titles. Yeah, this one, it's a little thin book, and looking forward to checking that out. But there it is, folks. That's my my little Friday horror haul. Absolutely ridiculous. Just stupid ridiculous. But it is what it is, I guess. Hope you enjoyed watching it. Stay tuned for another review, which should be coming in the next 2 or 3 days. Oh my god, this book I'm reading, I am enjoying the hell out of it. This thing is batshit insane. If it keeps going the way it's going, I'm about halfway through it. I've been a little slow reading this week, but I think I'm going to have another glowing review for you guys. So look out for that probably, early next week. But until then, take it easy. Have a great weekend. I'll catch you later. Peace out.